Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and today I thought we'd talk about Bangernomics, and that's basically the art of driving slightly older vehicles on a budget. Basically this is my Bangernomics car. This is what I drive every day. It's a 2003 Nissan X-Trail SUV. It's got 131,000 miles on the clock, but it does everything I really want to. It's a dirt cheap car. I paid 1,200 quid for it, and it's just due its MOT at the moment. First MOT I've got to get it through, so it does need a little bit of work on it. It needs the brakes doing, it needs basically a good service maybe before it goes through the MOT. I was talking about Bangernomics to a mate of mine, and he's struggling at the moment. He hasn't got a great deal of money about, and his old Toyota, he had an old Toyota Corolla, and we had to scrap it last Monday. It got to the point where I couldn't help him even get it through another MOT. It was, the emissions were horrendous on it. It needed a lot of welding on it, and we took it to the scrap yard and got 140 quid for it, which quite frankly was what it was worth. And he's been basically desperate for another cheap runabout. So I thought I would introduce him to the wonders of Bangernomics. So I went on eBay and I picked this up. What we've got here is what was meant to be my friend's new car. Unfortunately, things have gone a bit awry with the idea. Basically, he can't afford to insure it, even though his old car was a 1.6 and this is only a 1.9. They want ridiculous insurance for it, so I've basically been left with this thing. But this is a perfect Bangernomics car. It's dirt cheap. It's basically worthless, but it's a good little car for as a runabout, really. His problem is he's only got 1 year's no claims bonus, as where, I mean, I've got well over 10 years, and this car's a couple of hundred quid to insure for me, as where they're asking over £2,000 to insure it for it. So I'm actually thinking about driving this myself for a month or two while I get my Nissan over there all sorted out for its MOT. So I'm going to go back to proper Bangernomics for a while. I mean, the Nissan's kind of like the top end of your Bangernomics scale. I mean, it's got air conditioning, 6-speed gearbox, it's got all the 60 CD auto changer, all the toys on it. It's a sport. It's one of the topper spec models. It doesn't have the leather interior or the sat nav, but apart from that, it's got all the other toys on it. Like I say, it's really more your high end of Bangernomics. This is your real. Have any of you ever watched Hubnut on YouTube? He's into his Bangernomics, and this is a Hubnut style Bangernomics car. I'll take you around it and I'll show you about this car anyway. So I thought I'd just do this because I can't do any electronics videos at the moment. I've just not got the space at home at the moment. I'm actually up at a friend's place that's letting me just stick this car here temporary. But I'll take you off the tripod and I'll take you and we'll have a quick look around this car. Alright, there we go, I've got you off. Now it's a 1998, so it's 21-year-old this car. It's a Peugeot 306 Estate. It's an L. It's a DL, I think. Yeah, Peugeot 306 DL Estate. I'll show you inside it. And this is what you get, pretty much what you get with a Bangernomics car. I don't know if it's going to do it this time, but it's got central locking. Little bit of a delay on the rest of the doors. That can be up to a minute sometimes. The driver's door opens, but you can wait for a minute for the central locking to work on the other doors. Ooh, oh, yeah, this is what you get from a cheap banger of a car. The interior's worn. We've not got a radio. Let's see if we can show you what the mileage is on it, because this car has done. We get the Get the key in the ignition. It's tricky to do this one hand. Ah, there we go. Move the wheel around so you can see everything. There we go. And the car has done a little show. It's not. Oh, there we go. It's only got 151,000 miles on the clock. But I'll switch it on. Starts first time. Obviously it is a diesel, so it does sound a bit diesely, but it runs like a sewing machine. It is very poverty spec. We don't even get a rev counter in it. Like I said, this is an L. It's actually surprising it's got front electric windows. It's got front electric windows and central locking. They're the only two real like luxuries the car's got. It does have power steering though, and everything else. But yeah, now let's pop the bonnet. I've not even looked under the bonnet on this thing yet. Let's pop the bonnet and we'll have a look. If the bonnet will pop. Alright, let's perhaps not pop the bonnet because I don't think the bonnet release is working. It's not on that side, no. I'll have to play with that. Unless we can get it open now. It might be a two-man job, sometimes it... Oh no, there we go, I did get it. And that's the old Peugeot 1.9 UXD diesel engine. I don't think this thing's got a turbo on it, to be honest. Let's have a look. No. I can't even see a turbo down there, so it's not even got a turbo. No turbo down there. So it's a normally aspirated 1.9 diesel engine. It's even more ridiculous that he was wanting so much for insurance. Strut tops are good. This is usually where the cheap old cars start rusting out down here. Actually on this one, a little bit of rot down there, but it's not terrible. The strut tops are actually in really good order. There isn't really any rot on this car. Consider its age. Shut that back down. And even the paint, yeah, it's a bit flat. But it would polish and actually look reasonable. Inside, actually in the back, you got lots of room. Good old-fashioned poverty spec windy windows in the back, but they do work. Just one other non-electrical thing not to go wrong, I suppose. And obviously this being an estate, it's got lots and lots of room. It would make a good dump run car. We've got the roof rails, yeah, that's a bit broke there, but roof rails on it. Let's switch it off. It's like I said, it's not a bad car, and it's. I'll sit down here and show you a bit more of the inside. It's MOT'd actually until halfway through December of this year, so it's got a long MOT on it. And how much did I pay for it? Well, actually, my friend bought it. It's just I've ended up as the custodian of it. So I'm going to use it for a couple of... Oops, I just walked into my tripod. I'm going to use it for a month or two. Perhaps do a few little jobs on it, make it a tiny little bit tidier, give it a good polish up, and then see if I can sell it again and possibly turn a little bit of a profit on it. Because that's the whole thing with this car, it's what I paid for it. Considering, like I said, it's MOT'd on the road, paid 200 quid for it. Which, I mean, where can you get roadworthy? And it is roadworthy. I've driven it. I bought it in Sheffield and drove it back to Manchester. About 37 miles, and it drove brilliantly. The tyres are, they're really good. They've got plenty of tread on them. I mean, they're cheapy, yeah, made in China. M716s. I've never heard of them. Milwaukee, I think they are, but they've got lots of tread on. So 4 good tyres, like I said, long MOT on it. And the guy that I bought it off actually used it. He was a bit of a Peugeot nut, he had 4 of the things. And he has a house in France and one in Sheffield, and he's basically used this for a few years just to commute between Sheffield and France. So and he was a Peugeot nut. He actually serviced this car every 5,000 miles. So considering it looks an absolute shed, it is absolutely remarkably good in mechanical order, except for a car that's 21-year-old. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Like I say, I think I might do a bit of polishing up and restoration on this car, see if I can make it as nice as I possibly can, and then see if I can turn a little bit of a profit on it. And in the meantime, it's good because it means I can just bob about in that while I do a few jobs on my X-Trail here and just get my X-Trail absolutely spot on. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. So it was just a little quick video on the old Bangernomics here. Like I said, it is a perfect Bangernomics car, that, for someone that perhaps isn't young, because the insurance is the major issue, but if you can afford to insure it, incredibly cheap motor in there for that type of car. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. I hope you enjoyed that little rambly video, so thanks for watching and goodbye.